Hey everyone, it's Dr. Rick. I'll be doing a modified unboxing on these beautiful products. These are all from the medical cannabis dispensaries around my area. So I have an office, the Integrative Medicine Center in Hoffman Estates. Then I have an office out of the training center at the Endorphin Effect in Bartlett. Now, both places, I can touch about 3 different dispensaries all within 20 minutes. And this is cool because if I, as a card holder, cannot find a product at one place, I'll go online, change my dispensary and go to a different place as long as it's on the menu. And that's the beauty of it being a card holder, is that I get a cheaper rate as far as the taxes. And I have a wider variety of different options that are available to me as a medical card holder versus the recreational guys. And also, if I do decide to smoke, which I don't smoke, it never agreed with my lungs, I can get a higher amount of THC per flower purchase. So bottom line is, I wanted to give this as an alternative. So this weekend, I'll be doing a Zoom meeting for people that are having problems in the gym. So I have essentially 3 age groups this weekend. Just to give you a little spoiler, I have the 20-year-olds, I have the 30 to 40-year-olds, and I have the 60 and above. So each group has their own challenges with regards to exercise, healthy lifestyle. But one thing I find in all 3 groups is alcohol. And alcohol is important because it's a social unity that bonds you with other people and makes you belong to the group. And if you don't have a drink, while other people are drinking, they question you, why aren't you drinking? I think that we are socially pressured to have a drink when other people are drinking. But alcohol does nothing good if you're trying to be an athlete, if you're trying to develop muscle mass, if you're trying to increase your testosterone and keep your estrogen low. Even for lady or female athletes, having an imbalance of calories, macronutrients, or hormones is not healthy. Now, if you exercise regularly, if you sleep really good, if you eat properly to support the muscle that you're trying to exercise, I think that's fair. But once you pepper in alcohol, I don't mean to be pointing here, but once you pepper in alcohol to your lifestyle, empty calories, you bog the liver down, and then your coping skills or your restrictions, especially with alcohol, will suddenly be thrown out. So I have a lot of athletes, at least when I was working out back in the 80s. Yes, there used to be iron back then. But back in the 80s, we would go exercise, especially on Friday or Saturday, and go straight to the bar afterward. Because you get into the bar, you're all pumped up, or you get to the beach if you work out in the morning or afternoon, and then you just tie one on, and at that point in time, things are cool. But the problem is the ramifications after that is your judgment's fogged. So if you're on a really tight schedule with alcohol, you're gonna probably indulge in something you shouldn't have indulged in. That's the problem, is inhibition gets thrown out. Now, it is useful. It is a social mechanism to belong. It is kind of relaxing too, but the price is there's sugar and there's carbohydrates in most alcohols. Now, I was able to find a keto beer somewhere. I forget where it was. I saw it, I think, at Whole Foods. And it's novel, but it's like, if I'm doing that, why do I even want alcohol? So the bottom line is, I think, because we are all pressured to get that 40 to 50-hour work week out, especially, well, not especially the middle-aged guys, but the young guys have their issues, the middle-aged guys have their issues, and the older guys have their issues. And sometimes that use of alcohol is just baked into the routine. So my challenge to you would be, maybe you want to consider using this as a preemptive strike. I've had a couple of my disease patients, Crohn's disease, some of them with autoimmune disease, some that are fighting cancer, that have had to knock off the alcohol intake and straighten up their nutrition because they're fighting a disease process. But a lot of people right before that level, it'll be like, why should I stop it? And that's fair, because it is a nice relaxer. But here's my suggestion to you, is that if you use these products, you might be able to, number one, decrease your sugar intake and decrease your carbohydrate intake from the alcohol you would have taken in. So I have one patient that goes out she's single, and she goes out on Friday and Saturday and sometimes will average about 10 drinks the whole night into the early morning. And I remember those days, but it's not healthy. If you pay for your weekends in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you just party on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something's going to catch up. I mean, that's going to accumulate sooner or later. Or if you maintain that and you're lucky enough that it doesn't affect you, liver, fat, muscle development, sooner or later it will, because what happens with everybody is age. And when you age, things don't work as well. My protein signaling is decreased. Your stress is higher, families are started. The objective would be to consider using this as a preemptive strike before you go out. Maybe you can cut back on your alcohol, but you can't just take a swig of Zoots and just chug this like a 5-hour energy and go out. You really have to microdose this stuff. So I do have a video where I microdose, or I talked about microdosing. I'll put it down below. But all these are a little different. I think I even did an unboxing of this stuff. And I made the mistake of just drinking it, because you open up the fizz can and you figure, this is what I figured, you figure that if you keep it open, all the carbonation will go and it'll be flat. So the objective, you would think, would be to finish the whole thing. You cannot finish the whole thing. Per container here, there's a certain amount of milligrams of cannabis in each container. And it's supposed to be labeled like any other nutritional label, as far as serving size, calories, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and then the amount of THC and CBD. So in this one, that's the label that you have, THC content. And then you also have this. This is the standard nutrition label. So it gives you macronutrients, calories, and then THC amount. And then what's cool with this, I think I did this video too, it also gives you a hash mark as far as how much you can get used to. So everybody's a little different. These are not hash marked, but there's a nutrition label on SERPs. You can go online to see what the macronutrient content is and the nutrition label. The unfortunate problem is there's cane sugar in here. And although the flavors are awesome, you are going to be indulging in cane sugar. And those of you who caught this on this thing, there's like 9 grams per serving. And this is not one serving, this is like 10. Again, serving size is estimated, but your serving size might vary. So if you are super sensitive to this stuff, you want to start out super slow, super low. If you are testing it out, as I alluded to in my previous video, what I would do is pick a couple nights straight. Have your mixer, and my mixer is usually going to be, I don't have it with me, but I like Pellegrino. I like the balance of the salt, the flavor, and that's just fine for me. Plus it reminds me of Italy. But if you take your mixer and you use a specific amount and pick your lowest end, don't go heavy, just pick your lowest amount, and you put it into your mixer like a shot glass, and you mix it up and you drink it, and you note the effects that night, and then the next morning, bingo. You do that for about 3 nights straight, and you don't vary anything else like your diet, your exercise routine, your other beverages. And I think that'll be a good estimate for how it would affect you at that dose. If it does nothing for you as far as relaxation, I mean, that's what we want to do, is provide a little bit of calming so that you won't need as much alcohol. I remember going to the bar when I was in college and just doing shots until you got really tipsy, and that's not healthy. But sometimes, again, youthfulness is sometimes idiocy, or maybe not thinking a couple steps ahead and thinking about the ramifications. But I think that when you do substitute this, not only if you're in your 20s, but also if you're in your 30s and 40s and in your greater than 60 age group, I think it might be a nice experiment. So the idea would be, if you're a every night drinker, then maybe decreasing the volume of the drink by substituting this might be healthy. Or saving your drinks, the usual drinks, for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that's fine. But during the week, no matter which age group you belong to, you might want to substitute with this. So what would be the benefits? Well, number one, there's no alcohol in this. Number two, because again, the liver can digest and neutralize alcohol, but alcohol has this zero order of detoxification that it goes through in the liver. So when the liver says, "Oh, we got a big poison coming, everybody move aside. I'm not going to worry about glycation. I'm not going to worry about esterification. I've got all the other ideas or duties of the liver are put aside, and it just deals with the alcohol until the alcohol is all gone." So that's where the problem with, if you're trying to play around with your estrogen and your testosterone levels, for my guys that use TRT, That could be a problem if you are using medicines and most medicines go through the liver anyway, and you have alcohol on a regular basis. Man, that alcohol is going to be taking the place of your medicine, and it'll bump up your medicine or decrease your medicine doses or your effective blood levels. If you're taking vitamins, same thing. Absorption will be off with the vitamins. So again, I think it's so ubiquitous in the community that it's hard to say stop. But if you have a medical disease process of some sort, and 80% of the people I see do have a medical disease, I think it would be worth it to at least truncate it and put it into a little box like the Saturdays, or decrease the total volume, maybe substitute with this, learn your dose that gets you just relaxed enough without being impaired, and then go out and you can hopefully decrease on the need for how much alcohol you decrease on. I have a couple patients that have just moved away from alcohol and just relied on this. Now, one of the caveats is, yes, you can get high with this. And edible cannabis always works in an unpredictable fashion. Inhaled cannabis, whether it's a vape or wax, shatter, or flower, because you're taking one dose, you're taking an inhale and it's getting to your lungs and straight to your brain, you can guarantee that it'll probably be out of your system within a couple hours. So, done. And you can kind of fine tune that depending on how experienced you are. With this, there's a lot of other variables: what you ate, how your digestive system is working, how hydrated you are, if you've been eating all day or fasting all day. So your medicines, and if you're taking acid blockers. So there's a lot of other variables, but you can isolate them while you're doing your experiment on what's the most minimal dose that you need to just get relaxed. And once you find that dose, great. If you haven't found it and it's not affecting you, as I alluded to earlier, then you increase the dose a little bit more for a couple more days and you effectively keep your journal. Is this good enough? Do I feel decent? Do I have any hangover the next morning? So you get to a level that you eventually will either substitute for alcohol, or it's good enough to engage and start your night, a Friday night. So you can cut back on your alcohol. So that's how I would play it. And all these are a little different. Unfortunately, these guys have sugar in them. These don't, these come with cane sugar. The Zoots, I couldn't find the information. Marquois, this was pretty cool. Their website's really nice as far as Cannabis 101, but I couldn't find exactly what the print label was. I took the sticker off and I can't find my cannabis journal. Yeah, I used to keep a journal. I don't really anymore because I pretty much know in my mind I can record what I'm doing, unless I'm drinking alcohol, which I don't. But, and in this one, I told you I made a mistake by drinking way too much too soon, and I didn't like the effects. So that is the downside, is if you take too much too fast, you're going to be high or intoxicated with cannabis, and it'll be over. It takes a couple hours, but just don't drive. Have a lot of food. Hopefully you can use the old peppercorn and lemon rescue that I have, and I'll put a video. I've done that before, but there's an old tradition that you can use that to rescue you and help you stop responding to terpenes. But if you have any edibles or drinks that you look into, and this is the way you find it, by the way, if you go on the menu of your local dispensary, you just put in the search bar drink, and then these things should come up in addition to a couple other things. That's how you find it. But if you guys have any edibles, drinks that you like, or combinations that you have done to decrease the total amount of alcohol that you take in, or to be sufficient to relax you on a night and help you with sleep, please put them down below. And if you're interested in maximizing or optimizing your output when you guys are exercising, male or female, no matter which age group you're in, click the Zoom link down below and join in. I'll be doing these every Saturday, but this one in particular will be for performance enhancement. So thanks for watching up until this point. If you have any questions, put them down below as well. Otherwise, I'll see you at the next video.